Let's talk to Donald Macleod, columnist, entrepreneur, raconteur, impresario, promoter of many things, particularly involved in the nightlife economy, nighttime economy, I should say, in Scotland. Donald, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
So,
very early good morning.
I know. Thank you very much for getting up this early to talk to me. I mean, and I'm not expecting you to answer in the positive here, but Rachel Reeves' mini budget statement yesterday didn't hold out much hope for anybody, really, did it? What does it say to you in hospitality?
Well, you mentioned Sabrina Carpenter, and, I had to look this up. One of her hits is called Nonsense, and that's what basically, it's true, that's basically what her budget was. Yes. Absolute nonsense. Yeah. It was deeply disappointing, though, and it's very damaging, and to sectors that are already hemorrhaging jobs, and, closure rates are up, in particular pubs and nightclubs, and hospitality has been badly treated here, as we know very well, and it's so damaging, this, because we expected so much better from Labour when they came to power. She said she's a party of Labour is a party of work. Explain to me then how a 3.4 billion hit on this sector is going to create jobs and promote investment and stop closures. It's going to do the exact opposite. You mentioned about the onesie there. I was laughing there. I thought that was very funny. But, does she also wear snow mitts when she's using her abacus with bendy strings, to get the figures together? Because, there's a word in Scotland for her. It's called Egypt.
Right.
She is an idiot, and she absolutely makes, Liz Truss look like a mathematical genius. Yeah. I mean, you can't tax your way to growth. It's just, it just doesn't work, right. And this is what's going to happen.
Well, surely anybody sensible, if you were her, you'd go, right, so here's our plan. This was back in October. Our plan is to create growth, right? What we're going to do is we're going to put a load of money into the public sector, and then we're going to wait and see if it works. And having done that, the growth has gone from 2% to 1%. So you might think, well, maybe that wasn't a very good idea. Since well, let's see. What do you think? Do you think
the
maybe
Office of Budget Responsibility?
Do you think maybe before? Yeah, before we drive the bus completely off the cliff, maybe we should change course, But she doesn't seem capable.
Put the brakes on a wee bit, a wee bit, just slam them on because it's not working, and we can see it's not working. There's so many people like myself up and down the country that wanted change, wanted a bit of hope, and voted Labour. And now we're sitting there, what?
Yeah.
I mean, they sprung this one on spring. It has sprung, spring has sprung, and spring statement has sprung a leak, a massive leak on jobs, investment and closures. And, personally speaking, I'm in a quandary. I'm already, we're already struggling as a sector, but that's going to hit me for £250,000.
Yeah. Is this the national insurance hike?
Yeah, then employers' NI rates going up, and over inflation increase in the living wage. Why don't they do the opposite? Do it maybe Ireland or Germany or France to reduce the VAT as they did after. Sunak did that during the pandemic to 5%, and it went. It saved the sector. Right. Right down.
So that's and that's something that we know works, right? So if you make something cheaper for people and you take the VAT down to 5 instead of 20, people will actually spend more money.
Yes, they'll spend. They'll dig into their pockets and go, and suddenly the tills fill up. People go out, they feel better themselves. Yes, there is other, tax rates going up, but at this rate, with these NI rates, what that does is the increases don't just affect me as an employer; they affect the suppliers of the industry. The people that make the beer, that make the whiskey, your staff costs. They've got huge staff costs, so it affects the whole economy, and they start losing jobs, and suddenly, you're racing into a recession. I don't get it. So, and rates relief, they cut the rates relief in England from 75% to 40%, which, has helped a lot of business. In Scotland, we just got ours this year, but they excluded half the businesses that needed it. And the other thing there is it's been worked out that the Scottish grant will reduce by up to £900 million by 2029 because of these changes. So there'll be even less money for the Scottish Government to use if they indeed cared or wanted to help businesses, which in many cases they don't.
Right. And you're saying, I saw you were on ITV recently, STV I should say, in Scotland, talking about the numbers of closures that are going on in your sector in particular, nightclubs, late night sort of, venues where music is played are just not being able to hack it right now.
Well, artists, there's more and more venues are closing. I don't have an exact number, but you can see that you just need to walk down any of the streets in the cities up here, as indeed you can do around about the UK. But there's about a 37% closure rate across the country at the moment. That's the UK. And, a lot of these are grassroots music venues. And, they're the life and blood of the music industry. This is where all your artists generally come from, and there's some big, there's been famous names over the past that have closed, like Moles and Bath, and the 30th Note in Glasgow.
Moles is closed. I used to go. I saw the Cure in Moles and Bath.
Well, I recorded an album that was never released in Moles all these years ago.
It was a great little place.
I'll tell you why it wasn't released.
Yeah. No, but it was a great little place. But it is, it's this kind of closing down of any kind of fun. And it's, and you start to wonder if it's deliberate. They don't want people going to pubs. They don't want people going to music venues. They don't want people enjoying themselves. They don't want people, smoking. They don't want people drinking. They're a miserable, ghastly, awful crowd, aren't they?
It's the fifth largest sector in the UK employment, and yet they don't care about it. And if they don't care, then it disappears. And then one day we go, oh, what happened there?
Yeah.
But they just get so stuck in their politics, trying to make the numbers, trying to look smart and, intelligent when they're anything but. It really is a disgrace.
Yeah.
And so, hopefully maybe there'll be a levy of sorts comes through from the big concerts, like your Sabrina, Carpenter shows, where maybe £1 a ticket will come back into the industry, whether it's through a live trust or through the music venue trust. That will feed back into the grassroots music scene. That would help save it. But I think it's government's duty to save these industries, and they are ignoring them at the moment.
Well, it's certainly their duty not to tax them out of existence, because that is the problem. They must make an awful lot of money on the VAT alone from something like the Oasis tour. I mean, it was front page of the Sun yesterday. Ticketmaster in trouble for selling premium tickets at a price they shouldn't have sold them at, and they might have to give money back to some of the punters.
Really? That surprises me.
Shocking, isn't it? It's like that scene from Casablanca. I'm shocked to see gambling going on. Here's your winnings.
What?
But imagine the VAT they're getting off that Oasis tour.
Massive amounts, and but it does need a radical change to the VAT system. And for countries, as I say, like Germany and France, and even Ireland can reduce it for hospitality. Why can't Britain? We're already the highest tax country. We're already the highest tax in Europe in living memory. And in Scotland that's even higher because they add on another % here and there to the income tax rates up here, the Scottish government.
And more bad news for Friends of the Garage, which sits there in Sucky Hall Street in Glasgow. I'm seeing that Glasgow City Chiefs are facing fresh rat misery. There's rats running around all over the place because they've got a new drainage system.
Oh,
you're going to get the super rats in the garage. What's going on?
Massive rats. No, I will dispute that. Our bit is clean and healthy and all that. But they dug up the pedestrian boulevard to replace it with a pedestrian boulevard. It was when they dug it up, they suddenly realised, oh, wait a minute, there's utilities under there. They might need replaced. And so a 6-week job is now taken 2 years.
Aye.
The Harris fencing they do is still dug up. I don't know if they've planted even the new trees yet, but they put in these big, huge sort of pipes with all the cables in them, which have just become like expressways for rats. That's what we're told. But and then above ground, we have the Deliveroo expressways. Where all the Uber Eats all in the recycles, all bombing up and down. Nobody else uses them, which is destroyed the sort of transport infrastructure of the city. People don't go in; they can't get parked, and if you do try and walk, you're going to get run over by one of the
I was sitting in a traffic jam in London. I was sitting in a traffic jam in London the other day because they basically narrowed the street to such an extent because they've made a bus lane, they've made a cycle lane. There was literally nobody in the cycle lane. There were no buses in the bus lane, and we were all sitting there for about 15 minutes not moving. And you just go, what is going on? I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's the thing. When buses are coming into, say, Sucky Hall Street, because cars sometimes, imagine that as well. If I try and find a parking space,
oh God, heaven
it
forbid.
goes down to one lane, so the buses can't turn in. So who'd have thunk it? I mean, all these things we were saying at the time. This is what's going to happen. Oh no, what do you know about it? You just want to destroy the planet, and you just want cars everywhere spewing out fumes, and you're
right-wing bigots.
No, idiots.
I know. I know. It's mad, isn't it?
That's where we are with that.
It is. It's just driving everybody insane. Well, listen, we live to fight another day, Donald. Good to see you. Hopefully see you soon down here in the big smoke in London. Donald Macleod, columnist there up in Scotland, entrepreneur, bar owner, restaurant owner,